Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Can I Have a Word with You with Bruce Pulver and
Heather Carter here to see all or hear from Bruce and see all of you. I guess you're seeing us. That's the sadder part.
well, it's great to be back with you. And last episode we had a guest, and we're going to do that periodically. That was fun. We bring someone in, we put them on the spot, and say, "Hey, bring your word with you," and then we sort of try to. I don't want to say drag them through, but we do try to get
them. Sort of terrifying.
Yeah, swim at your own risk in this room, right? So today, we're gonna break down a word that we've done before. We've done a couple of versions of this word, and it's a fun word because it generates both sides of the word, right? And we're going to try to unpack not what the word is, not how to go about acting upon the word, but why should we? What's our why in this word? And you know us, author Above the Chatter, Our Words Matter, and Soul-Selfie, and second version of Soul-Selfie, and speakers, we kind of fascinated about the impact of words and communication, and what does it mean, and how does it impact a relationship, and all of that. So today we're going to take another swing at the word commit. And this time we're going to look at the why of commit. Why would you commit? Why would you want to make a change? Why would you want to step into something uncomfortable and new and maybe even scary? What's the reason that will make us stick with, whether it's an improvement, an advancement, stopping doing something, etc.? So I've got a verse. I'll kick it off, and then Heather kind of give a little of your thoughts. But my verse was Psalm 37:5. Commit thy way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. Well, to me, that's kind of the definition of a lot of things I'm going through with growth of speaking and moving into my next chapters of life, and pulling on the older, history of things I've done is to just commit. And what is my why associated with that? Heather, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's an important word in our current culture because I heard our pastor at our church say a while back that people have, instead of just FOMO, fear of missing out, they have FOBO, fear of better options. And when that kind of rules everything, I know that my kids have expressed that from some frustration from their friends that no one will say they're going to be anywhere until the last minute because wonder if they get a better offer and they need to take that. So people are really hesitant to commit because of social media and being able to see what's out there all the time. So I think it's a good time to talk about why committing to something matters to your character.
Yeah. How deep does it go, and what's the reason? And is it harder not to do this thing than it is to do it, whatever that is, the change, the growth, the commitment to a relationship, the fixing of something, etc. So yeah, we call that being better dealt. Like someone said, you had someone invited, they're coming over for something else, last minute you get we can't do it, and you're kind of wondering, did we get dealt for a better opportunity or a better thing, right? A front row tickets to something or whatever. But that's all okay. But so let's break down the why. I mean, if we kind of dive into why we do something, it's deeper than what it is, because what kind of has the picture or it sort of describes the thing, the activity that you want to do. The how is kind of the steps, right? How do we step into this commit, and are there 7 keys to success to a diet, better nutrition, to learning a new language, to growing our faith, whatever those things in life are. But to me, the why just gets from the head down to the heart. I think that's really what it means to me. So I broke it down this way, right? Vertically, COMMIT, the why. The C for me was, it could save a life, and even mine or someone else. So that why could be, life changing, and at a point where that change might be essential, or it might be something that I've just really desired and now's the time.
Mm-hmm. Like do you mean you're committing to um, getting the help you need for whatever it is you're maybe struggling with? If you are addicted to something, that you commit to, recovery groups or treatment, or if you're, um, out of shape or health is at risk, you're committing to get up every day and move your body or eat differently. I think the important thing to remember with why commitment matters is because a lot of times we're committing to things that are not things we want to do. It's easy to stay committed to going to Disneyland, or easy to stay committed to going out to eat tonight so I don't have to cook dinner. But it's not so easy when, like this morning, when I was hitting my snooze and hitting my snooze, and I did eventually get up and do it, because I knew if I didn't go work out, I would be wishing I would have later in the day, and then having to make it up, and it would have been more stressful in the end than missing a little bit of sleep. But commitment matters, because we don't want to do a lot of times the things that we need to do to get where we actually do want to be. We want to be sober. We want to be healthy. We want to have friends, but the things that get us there aren't always pleasant.
It could save a life though, and it could be mine or it could be someone else's. So if it's, I mean, that could be part of the why. It's life or death level. Hopefully it doesn't get to that, but sometimes it takes that near miss, when you've got your phone in your hand and you're driving. Well, you're going to lock it in the glove compartment from now on because it matters, right? Those kinds of things. The O is the inspiration ripple. So what did I mean by that? Maybe a little movement starts the inspiration. I was on that push-up kick for a year or so ago, and did that, had a little shoulder injury, but started up again by doing 50 push-ups a day for 30 days to benefit a children's hospital in Tennessee. Just committed to do it, to raise some money, and the ripple that had by posting that, the feedback was that other folks have said, hey, I'm gonna either do the same thing, or I started walking this week, or something along the lines where there could be a level of inspiration that boosts in yourself, but it's also at times pretty cool to inspire someone else, or you see someone else doing something and you go, oh, that's a ripple that's going to wash over me. I want to do, and I can do that. I can drink an extra glass of water a day. I can read 10 pages, whatever those things are. So I believe in that ripple aspect can have a commitment aspect to why.
Yeah. And it's easier to keep the commitments that you commit to, is when other people, when there's community around it. I mean, whether or not you're in person or you're just are on Facebook groups, that's why there's all those kinds of support groups. If you meet regularly or talk regularly to discuss your why behind it, you're more apt to complete or get closer to the end result you're desiring.
Oh yeah, and even in the messiness, right? How many times did you hit your snooze? Well, I hit mine 6, I hit mine 7, but we still got up. So you know what I mean, it's not that I'm holding ourselves accountable and we're perfectly performing. There's some of that, in the agony. You've got someone that you can hear you, but B will also encourage you to move on. So that's sort of what I meant with the ripple, is to keep going. Is the O. The first M in the why of commit to me was my family needs me, or my fill in the blank needs me. My children, my parents, my pastor, I committed to be on this volleyball team. My team needs me. It's maybe that's a part of belonging as well. Like we kind of talk about the ripple, but maybe the my family or the my fill in the blank needs me is a why. I mean, the collective improvement, the collective gain that you can make. Think of any team sport or any amazing band or quartet or any type of performing organization that has multiple players. You're needed. That's reason enough at times. The second M is more to lose if I wait. That can be a why. There's more things to lose staying in my situation, not making that improvement, not stepping out of that behavior that I want to change and move away from. There's more there's more to lose there than there is of the struggle of getting to the new place. And that takes fortitude, in my opinion. I'll leave that. I'll turn that one over to you.
Yeah. Well, I think you just you have to remember that anything you don't do today that is necessary to do is just going to be harder to do tomorrow, and it's going to require more of you, because if it's weight loss, or that's kind of a common one, but whatever it is just everything we do one way or another, good or bad, is progressive. So if you're not doing something to change it and can make a commitment and remember and think through your why for doing it, it's just going to get harder and harder the longer you go. And the more weight you gain, the more you're going to have to lose, and the longer you postpone therapy or turning your will over to the care of God, you're just prolonging and build, kind of like piling it on and piling it on. It's just going to be bigger pile of, to plow through. The longer you wait.
Yeah. Another thought came to mind there for me is that I'm known as a pretty good procrastinator.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found is that the work might not get heavier if I leave it there, but the angst of not having it done closer to a deadline
Mm-hmm.
really eats at me.
Oh.
And I have to battle that. Therefore, maybe the effort it's going to take me, even if it isn't more of a heavy lift, but it's the same lift, but now I don't have the luxury of looking at multiple options. Mm-hmm. Maybe I don't have the luxury of a draft. I got to go and go. That could be difficult as well. Really difficult.
Have you ever read that book that's out called Eat That Frog?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't remember who wrote it, but just the principle is, if you have to eat a frog, eat the biggest one first.
Yeah.
Don't put off the thing I do that so badly, especially at work. I have to make a call that I'm nervous about making, and I'm like, I'll just connect. I really do need to call these 7 other people first before I call that scary person. And then I'm just stalling and making it and anxious the whole time. Whereas if you just dive in and get it over with, it relieves the tension and stress in your life if you just go ahead and do the thing.
Absolutely. I'll never forget a college roommate, still dear friend. We were both in the music school together. We met the first day of college, and he told me that one of the things his parents always taught him was to do the least desirable thing first. Mm-hmm. Get that out of the way, because it's probably a pretty high priority too. If it's not a high priority, that's a whole another thing, mm-hmm. right? But that's a tough one. It's easy to pick out the stuff that's easy because you see that the lawn's mowed, but you haven't done the bigger project. Well, but at least the lawn's, you kind of can rationally, and that can build on itself. So it's not easy, right? We're all kind of in that same boat. So 2 more letters. The I wrote is, it means more than ever. So the why aspect of finding the real meaning as best you can, like visualize the outcome. What's it going to feel like when that task is done, or that new skill is developed, or that addiction or that habit or something that you want so badly to get rid of? What's it going to feel like? And you may not know specifically, mm-hmm. but you can give yourself something about that. Maybe it's something around, working on your finances and either getting out of debt or retiring some debt, doing something that you can do to do that. Is that going to mean much more? And what is that going to look like?
Mm. Yeah, I have a hard time with that, because that's not I'm a very much of immediate, gratification kind of thing. And so if it feels terrible right now, it's hard for me to think about how great it's going to be down the road if I just do it. But that is the point of commitment. that I love the definition that is, if you look it up, of this word, is to pledge or bind to a certain course or policy. So when you commit to something, it just doesn't really matter if you want to do it or not. That's the thing. If you wait till you feel like it, I would probably never get anything done. And so that's the whole point of the word commit, is that, like in marriage is not always easy or fun or romantic, but you make the commitment so that when it's not easy, fun, and romantic, you stick, you stay in it. And same with anything else you commit to, you stay in spite of all the hard things. I watched a show the other day. Now I can't remember. I think it's called The Mission. It's on, uh, I think it's on Netflix or Amazon Prime, but it's about a Hispanic man who was a migrant farm worker who wanted to be an astronaut. And he basically from childhood and ended up, after applying 12 times, he eventually got to go to space. But he, again, 12 times was rejected. And then his wife said, well, what are they doing that you're not doing? And he said, well, some of them have this degree and some of them speak Russian. So she's like, all right, well, get yourself to Russia then. So he went to Russia for 6 months and learned Russian. And he learned how to be a deep sea diver and all the things that he had to do because he wanted that end result. And it took him his whole, I think he was 30 something or more before when he finally got to go. So that was a huge, a really inspiring, true story about someone who was like, this is what I'm doing, and it's going to suck sometimes to try to get there, but I'm committed.
I would argue that he had a real deep why to his reason for that commit. Because the what would be, I'm going to make it. I'm committed. The how is the steps, but to do those steps and stick with them for 12 years, and they were different steps, but I understand what you're talking about. They'd have a deeper seated meaning for that to be that important to him. And that's kind of what we're talking about here when we're unpacking the why of around commitment, is that to stick, it almost has to become dyed in the wool, part of who you are for why you want that. And we're kind of chatting about, is it because you're going to lose something if you don't? Is it because it's an attainment thing you have? Does it put you in a position to have more opportunities expand? Does it get you out of something that isn't serving you well? Because it's so easy to fall back into our habits. And we're not talking to people as if we figured this out. We're talking to folks as
I'm only talking to you today, Bruce, to be honest, because I committed to be here, because I did not feel like it. It's really nice outside. I am tired, as I mentioned, because I got up and worked out, so I need a nap. But I thought, what a perfect word for today, because I committed to this, and I'm going to get on here and do it, because it's going to come out at midnight tonight, no matter what. And we don't want Bruce talking all by himself.
Yeah, we know that doesn't always go well. We've done a few of those solo.
I want to do that to everybody, so.
Well, I appreciate that very much. So the last letter of the T is time is now. Let's go. I mean, that could be the reason. It's like it's about time. Well, my dad used to walk around with this round piece of wood in his hand, and it had the number 2 and the word "it" on it. And I'd say, Dad, what's that? He said, you told me that you'd mow the grass when you got around to it. So he'd hand me the round to it, and I knew that it was time to get that job done. So time is now. Let's go. So I don't know. Man, there's so many different ways to look at commit, right? We make a commitment. We work through what are the steps to actually perform that commitment. We talked about that in a podcast. Come with positivity, own your time, make and keep self-promises, make service part of the priority, invest in the growth actions, and then realize the results. That was kind of the how. The what is count on me making it there. But this one, as we wrap it up, it could save a life. The why, the real root of the reason, the heart set reason, because we can logically talk ourselves inside and outside, but when it gets into our heart is, I think, where it really has the opportunity to blend with the other parts of commit, right? The how and the what. But could save a life. The inspiration ripple. Oh, the inspiration ripple that could happen. My family needs me. My family, my team, my coaches, my brothers, my sisters. the community. More lost if I wait. We talked about that, right? It may not be heavier lift, but it may might be heavier on our mind and heavier on our stress. It means more than ever. It's something that's like, I got to do this. Many of my musician friends who do this professionally, I say, why do you do this? This is all I can do. I was wired this way. It means more than ever to their why, to commit, to go practice and to do those things. And then the T is the time is for now. So let's go. So
yeah, and I think we should never discount, at least for people who are Jesus followers, that ultimately you have strength, that God can give you strength to do things that you didn't think that you could do otherwise. And I'm kind of in awe of people who can do it without God's help. They must be pretty amazing people, but I am not one of those people that can do it on my own, and I need God's help. So I have to ask him to help me do the thing, help me keep the commitment, help me keep first things first. When I make a commitment, that I keep it, even if I get a better offer. And that shows respect for other people, for myself, for the things, the why behind what I'm doing. So never underestimate, I guess, the power that God can supply for you if you make a commitment to something. I think he honors that in us.
Absolutely. And as in Psalms 37:5, maybe we'll wrap it up with this. Commit thy way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. It doesn't mean we're going to get everything I want, but he's going to get us through things. He's going to get us through things in ways that we could never have dreamed. And I've found in my life that when he's running it, it's usually a better show than if I'm running it.
That's a huge part, because if our why is just for self, if it all ends up in just self gratification and not part of God's will, I don't know. I don't think we get to run around, just do whatever we want and ask God to bless it and give me the strength to do it. That doesn't mean we do all things possible and ask him to give us strength. He does all things in us when we do things according to his will. So, if something you're committing to, ask God about that before you put your life on hold to commit to it. Make sure it's something that lines up with what his will is.
Absolutely. So we'll wrap this up. Heather, it's always great to just get on the phone. Get on the Zoom, get on the podcast, just unpack some words, different meanings. We're all struggling through things, but I think there's joy in the journey. We just, need to commit. We need to call on God for help, have him to close doors that he doesn't want us to go through, and provide the doors open that he does. And staying committed can make that happen. So until next time, what are your parting words?
Everybody, make sure you get on and check out Bruce's site. I always want to say, it is Above the Chatter, Our Words Matter. I keep wanting to say, can I have a word with you? That's
what we do. And Heather Carter writes.
Or get me out. Go to Above the Chatter, Our Words Matter. Check out heathercarterwrites.com to hear encouraging blogs. I usually try to write once a week. So, and then you also will get an email with the podcast link in there every week as well. So
absolutely.
Lots of ways to find us.
Share it out. If you like this, if it's meaningful to you, give us some comments. If you got a word you want us to unpack, send it to us at our website or out here on the comment section. We check these out. We follow it. We definitely want to respond and engage and interact. So until next time, everybody, make it a great day. Thanks for joining us on Can I Have a Word with You? See you, Heather.